2008 World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Wednesday, April 8th, 2026. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio Roundtable, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly Tailgates, and the STT Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight along with my partner, Jim Chesko. Chet, the Flyers. They are right in the hunt. They now control their own destiny as they finish out the season. The Sixers, not so much. They've fallen back into a playoff spot. The Phillies have quietly won some games only to get shut out the last two nights, Chet, including this afternoon. The Flyers had more goals than the Sixers, and then the Phillies had hits in both the last 2 days. That's not good. As always, plenty going on in Philly sports.
Bill, I honestly can't believe we're talking about Flyers playoff games after where things stood a month or so ago. In early March, I think they had like a 9 or 11% chance of making the postseason. Now it's somewhere between 60 and 65%, depending on who you talk to. They control their own destiny. Pretty amazing. The Phillies, they've been up and down the last couple of games, of course, getting shut out twice out in San Fran.
Yeah, well, I think we thought when the Flyers had that 3-week run or so of just not playing good hockey right before the All-Star break, or the Olympic break, I guess you call it this year, that they were done. But a lot of young energy has come up. They brought up, and I think we'll probably talk about Mr. Martone here as we continue on. But he's certainly, along with others, having Tyson Forster back. Big jolt for this Flyers team, playing very good hockey.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, this is show number 595, putting us 5 weeks away from 600. See, I can do math, Bill. And by the way, on this morning's Trending in the AM show here on the STT Sports Network that we're a part of, our guy Phil Stifle put out a fun topic for his audience asking if you could change one thing on the Philly sports scene, what would it be? There are all sorts of possibilities in terms of how you might answer that, but he urged us to throw it out there on our show this evening, and we're going to do that. Revisiting that topic in the second half of the show. I will remind you, again, at around 30 past the hour. And Bill, you didn't mention it in the open. I'm a little disappointed, but we will actually mention and have a little segment on bowling later in the show as well.
Well, I thought when you told me that last night, or was that this morning, I was thinking you were kidding, or maybe I was hoping you were kidding. I don't know. But
it'll make sense. I promise. It will make sense when you see it.
All right. Well, hey, we have a great guest returning tonight in Anthony SanFilippo to talk Flyers and more. It's another big show tonight, Jet, on Philly Pressbox Radio.
Yeah, and Anthony is so darn good, man. He is just a wealth of knowledge on both the Flyers and the Phillies. He writes about, both of those teams on Pattison, and he and I did have a great chat, Flyers and Phillies talk, and I think that other than concerns about the power play, which we all still have, Ant is feeling pretty positive about the Flyers. Here's our conversation, although I should mention that just like one of the videos I did a few weeks ago, the video will freeze at various points during the interview, which kind of sucks. I guess I didn't pay my video pad software bill or something. I don't know. But the audio is all there. Just pretend you're listening to an old-fashioned radio or show or something when that happens. But here is that conversation with Anthony. Let's welcome this guy back to Philly Pressbox Radio to talk Flyers and Phillies. You can find him on Pattison and on a couple of popular podcasts as well, Snow the Goalie and Fightin' Words of Phillies podcast. It's Anthony SanFilippo. Anthony, happy Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a good Wednesday, Chet, especially after the way the Flyers played yet again last night in New Jersey. And this story continues to be one that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, who would have thunk it? The hottest and suddenly most talked about team in Philly is the Orange and Black. They've played really well since the Olympic break and are now in full control of their playoff destiny, 65% now, according to the experts, with the numbers. What's behind this late season surge by the Flyers?
Well, there's two things I think that really come into play here. First and foremost is they've changed their defensive structure coming out of the Olympic break. And once they did that, what they've really done is they've really taken away the middle of the ice. And when you do that, you force shots from the outside, those are lower percentage chances for the opposition. So they've done a really nice job of limiting opportunities for their opponents. And they're playing a defensive first game and trying to be opportunistic themselves. At 5-on-5, there's not many teams playing better in the NHL right now than the Philadelphia Flyers. And secondarily, you're getting very good goaltending. With only a couple of exceptions aside since the Olympic break, both Dan Vladar and even Sam Ersson, for a stretch of about 5 starts, have been very, very good. Vladar last night was his 32nd game of allowing 2 goals or fewer, which is the second best in all of hockey. And when you look at that and you sit there and go, well, that's the reason why they're playing as well as they are. Now, even though they're playing as well as they are, had everyone else around them not utterly collapsed at the same time, we wouldn't be having this conversation. They would still be on the outside looking in. But they've had some good fortune around the league, and it's coupled that with some great play by the team.
Yeah, and the defense has played a lot better in recent weeks for sure. And the team essentially added a couple of high-energy guys to the lineup over the past 10 days or so. Tyson Forster back in action after missing, 3.5 months, 49 games with an injury, 2 goals last night for him. And 19-year-old rookie Porter Martone arriving earlier last week. And, man, what a story he's been. What will the addition of these 2 guys mean for the Flyers' presumed return to the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, this is a big upgrade, right? I mean, you weren't expecting. We all knew Martone was coming as soon as Michigan State's season ended. So Flyers got a little bit of fortune there as well, in that Michigan State got upset in the quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament. So it allowed Porter Martone to be on the roster for 9 games. Whereas if they had reached the Frozen Four and the national championship game, he maybe plays the last 2 games of the season for the Flyers, right? So you're getting extra 7 games out of Martone, which is a bonus. And then Forster wasn't expected back for the regular season at all, and he worked his tail off to get back. And so now all of a sudden you look at this and say, all right, we just added the guy who was our leading goal scorer when he got hurt in Tyson Forster, and we added our top prospect, in the middle of this playoff push where we're playing our best hockey the entire season. And they've been great so far. It's been a huge upgrade. Forster's got 3 goals in 4 games. Martone's got 4 points in 5 games. These are really big additions for the Flyers. And when you're going good and then you can add talent like that to your lineup at the same time, that's a double win in a lot of ways. And so, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that adding these 2 guys back in suddenly is going to have them playing hockey in June. But what it does tell you is that this team is probably better than most people gave them credit for, because they have this influx of talent that was there and ready to come into the lineup.
Need to talk about Matvei Mishkov. He scored 26 goals as a rookie. Has just 17, though, heading into the final week of this season. His per-game ice time down a little bit as well. There was talk of him not being in the best of shape to start the season. What's going on with Mishkov, and what is his future?
Yeah, so I would tell you that he's been better since the Olympic break, although it's been a little bit more sporadic, but he has been better. 12 points in the last 12 games. Can't knock that. Only 1 goal, though, so he's not really scoring. But he's found a way to help create offense in these games, and he's setting up plays. He had another nice assist last night. He had a great game the other day when he had the assist on the Travis Sanheim goal in New York, and then he had a goal and assist in that game. So those were, those are signs that, okay, this is the player that he was a year ago. He's starting to show that he can be that guy again. He's still not where he needs to be. You still see him turn the puck over a little bit too much. He loses some board battles. He makes some decisions that are not always the best, takes a couple of penalties at the wrong time. But if you look at where he was pre-Olympics versus where he is post-Olympics, you're seeing a progression. And I think that the Flyers look at it and say, okay, we know he's still committed. We can see that he's trying to get back to the player he was. He needs a big offseason. And when I tell you that this offseason is going to matter a ton for his future, if he gets into the shape that he needs to get into, he could be a star player in this league, and the Flyers will be even that much better. So I think the future looks bright, assuming he's willing to put in the work. But it has been a very difficult roller coaster season for him. And that sometimes happens with young players. You know, progression, Chet, is not always linear. Development's not always linear for athletes. And I think that he's learned that lesson the hard way.
For sure. Well, Sunday's overtime win with Martone, the hero, came via a 5-on-3 power play goal. Zegras then added a power play goal in last night's win over the Devils. Is there some hope that the power play may finally be improving a bit?
Maybe.
Come on, I'm hoping.
Yeah, well, what I will tell you is the one thing I've liked about what I've seen out of the power play lately is they're at least moving the puck well and generating some shots. I still don't know. I mean, look, maybe Martone can be ultimately a difference maker. I think he'll score a lot of goals, especially from those greasy areas. But he's not even on their top unit right now. He's on their second unit, right? So if you look at what the power play is right now, I still don't know how much better it is. Forster coming back certainly helps a little bit for sure. But if you go from, I mean, look, they're 32nd in the league. If you go from 32 to 28, are you excited by that? I don't see that. And ultimately, I think what's going to ultimately hurt this team in the playoffs, assuming they get there, is the fact that they don't score on the power play. And I think that that's going to be the one thing, because like I said, 5-on-5, they've been great, and they have a system in place that makes it hard on the opposition. But as soon as they get on the power play, they don't score. Momentum goes the other way. If their penalty kill's been less than stellar, other teams are scoring power play goals. If you can't win that special teams battle in an otherwise even game, you're going to come up on the losing side of things more often than not.
Hey, you mentioned this guy earlier. What a pleasant surprise Dan Vladar has been. 26 or 27 wins, goals against now, about 2.4. Who saw that coming from him when they signed him last year?
Nobody. And even the team admits that they did not think that this was what they were going to get, right? They thought they were getting with Dan Vladar a quality veteran backup goalie who could potentially push Sam Ersson for some games as like a 1A, 1B situation. And they felt like that would be a more steadying force than what they had last year when no matter who they put in net, it was a disaster, whether it was Ersson or Ivan Fedotov or Alexei Kolosov. It didn't matter. Last year was a mess in goal. They felt like this would be at least steadied a little bit. They didn't look at this guy and think, oh my God, we got a top 10 goalie in the NHL. Like, that was not on their bingo card. And all of a sudden, he's been that and more. And second in number of games with 2 or fewer goals. I think Vasilevsky in Tampa is the only one that's better. His save percentage is quality. It's over 900. His goals against, I believe, is like 5th in the NHL at this point, somewhere around 5. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a few down ballot votes for Vezina. He's not going to be a finalist anywhere like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a few 4th or 5th place votes from some of the voters for that award.
Okay, so 4 games left for the Flyers, road games in Detroit and Winnipeg, then home against the Hurricanes and Canadiens. How do you see the regular season ending up for the Flyers, and what is the most likely first-round playoff matchup? Is it the Penguins still?
I think it is. I think that their best path is through the Metropolitan Division. I mean, look, there is a possibility that, if Columbus catches them, then they would have to fall into a wild card. They would need Ottawa to lose as well in there. I'm comfortable with the 3-point lead over Detroit and the Islanders. I don't think that you're blowing that in 4 games. but I think that you look at Columbus currently wins a tiebreaker. There is one very narrow, slim path for the Flyers to get ahead of them in regulation wins and finish tied with the Blue Jackets. That would require the Flyers to go 3-1 in their final 4 games and win all 3 games in regulation, while Columbus goes 4-0 and all 4 come in overtime or shootout. So they're probably losing all tiebreakers. So you got to think about it as 1 point ahead. So you could see Columbus catching them if the Flyers trip up. So you need Ottawa to also lose a game or 2 here along the way in the final 4. But I still think the Metropolitan Division is the easiest path because you have a lead there where you don't have a lead in the wild card race.
By the way, congrats to you and Russ and Bundy on your 300th Snow the Goalie podcast last week.
Yes, it's been unbelievable that we've been. I mean, most podcasts, as you know, Chet, they don't last that long, right?
Yes.
And we started Snow the Goalie. Well, I guess the preview episode was in March of 2018. And here we are in April of 2026, still doing it, right? So that's pretty awesome. And, we signed a new 3-year deal doing the Press Row show down at Wells Fargo or at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. I still can't get it out of my head.
I hear you.
Right. So we know that this is going to be going for another 3 years at least. So, we're going to get past the 10th anniversary. We're probably going to be over 500 episodes. So that's a really, really exciting thing. And we're thrilled about it.
Absolutely. Hey, let's turn our attention to the Phillies. And full disclosure, we are taping this chat before the Wednesday afternoon Phils-Giants series finale. But as we speak, the Phils are 6-5 after getting shut out Tuesday night. Horrible effort, just 4 hits. What have we learned about this Phillies team 2 weeks into a 6-month season?
They can't hit left-handed pitching.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really the biggest. If you're looking for the biggest flaw right now, is that they can't hit left-handed pitching. And, teams have tried over the last year or two to really throw lefties at the Phillies because their best players happen to hit left-handed, right? Schwarber and Harper. Mm-hmm. The thing about the Phillies, at least last year, is both those guys did a really good job at hitting against left-handed pitching. Kyle Schwarber set a major league record for home runs against left-handed pitching. Bryce Harper did a nice job hitting against lefties last year. So even though that they didn't have other guys that really did well against lefties, other than maybe Otto Kemp in his short stint last year, and Edmundo Sosa, obviously as a platoon guy for Bryson Stott, hit lefties last year. The rest of the lineup, not so much. So far this year, nobody's hitting the left-handers, and that's the issue. And you worry that, are you really going to rely on the Otto Kemps and Edmundo Sosas of the world to lift you up against left-handed pitching if you have a game where neither Schwarber nor Harper come through against a lefty, right? So it really you look at it and you say, well, who else should be in that mix? I know Alec Bohm didn't play last night because of a mild groin pull. They expect him back, I think, today in the lineup, but he hasn't hit lefties. Adolis Garcia has gotten off to a decent start, although he was 0 for 4 last night. He actually has been hitting the ball hard, but not necessarily against lefties. He's actually hit better against righties so far. So these are the guys that are going to have to step up and do the job. Otherwise, we're talking about a season where the Phillies came into it and said, well, this is who we counted on, and they didn't really go out and get that guy, that big right-handed bat that can make a difference, and it's not coming through. So that's the thing that I would say, biggest red flag for me so far is they can't hit lefties, and I wouldn't be surprised if teams throw more left-handed pitching at them as the season goes along.
Well, the Phillies have a pretty good lefty in Christopher Sanchez, but he hasn't been as sharp as we've come to expect his last 2 starts. Are you confident he'll get back to, very normal soon?
Yeah, I am. And, you look at what happened in the game yesterday, and, I know he gives up a bunch of hits, but really only 2 of the runs were earned. Some really terrible defense behind him. Trey Turner makes that error. Otto Kemp, who I don't know how they can keep him in left field. He just looks completely lost out there. Misplays a ball. I even thought Justin Crawford, who's been great so far in all aspects, I even thought that he had one ball early in the game that he took a bad route to.
He did.
That could have been caught. So I think that when you look at those plays and you're giving the Giants 6 outs in 1 inning, that then they score 3 of the runs of the 3 of the 4 runs off of Sanchez in that inning. Probably wasn't his best outing. Like, he wasn't commanding his fastball in the inner half to righties, and so they got a few hits off of him, but he probably could have pitched his way out of that and around that and only given up 2 runs. So I'm not worried about Sanchez so much. I just think that it was just one of those games, and they just didn't play great defense behind him.
We do expect Zach Wheeler back within a couple of weeks now, I believe. What is his return to the rotation going to mean?
Well, it's going to mean a lot. The thing that is a little bit of a red flag right now, and I think we'll find out later today or tonight. I'm not sure what time that game is in Lehigh Valley. I think it's a night game. He pitches again tonight for the Iron Pigs, and this is his third rehab start for them. His fastball velocity was down in his last start yet again, and not down a lot, but if you compare it to where it normally is for, say, his second start of spring training, this is the equivalent of, he's down about 1 to 1.5 miles per hour. He feels good physically. I think that the Phillies believe that extra mile per hour is a result of him being 10 pounds lighter than he used to be, and they're now putting him on a program where they want to bulk him up a little bit, because he does look a little bit gaunt compared to what he normally looks like and he had to lose that weight as part of the procedure for the surgeries for the thoracic outlet syndrome. So it's not like he's sickly or anything. He had to lose that weight. Now he's got to try and put some back on. They feel confident that once he puts the weight back on, the velocity will come with it. So they're not overtly concerned, but I do want to see what it looks like once he starts getting to 75 pitches and 80 pitches in these rehab starts, because is the velocity maintaining even if it's a lower velocity, or is it dipping even further? And that's the thing that I think will dictate exactly when he returns. Because if he's still throwing 94, 90, in the 5th or 6th inning, okay, fine. His stamina is good. He'll be okay once he puts the weight on. But if he's now dipping down to 92, 91, and he's tiring, now all of a sudden you got to wonder, well, does that play? And if it doesn't, you can't bring him back. So I think that once he gets into the rotation, they'll be smart about it. He'll be Zach Wheeler, and he'll be a great addition to the rotation. But when he gets there will be dictated by a lot of factors that still need to be determined.
Okay, one final Phillies thing. The bullpen's been great. Justin Crawford, as you mentioned, off to a good start, hitting 324 through 11 games. Garcia's been okay in right field. But I'm not alone in thinking Bryson Stott was going to have a real good season. I think it was Todd Zalecki who predicted Stott might be an all-star and even compete for a batting title. Well, through Tuesday night, his average is at 188, and he's looked kind of What's your take on the second baseman?
Yeah, he's more aggressive at the plate than normal. And the one thing about Bryson that I thought was great last year is, he made that mechanical adjustment in the second half of the season, and it was really, really good, right? He hit like over, I forget what the exact numbers were. He was over 300 and was a very productive player for the Phillies. And I looked at it and said, if he could do that again this season, he'll have a really, really good season. And as Todd pointed out, maybe an all-star level season, right? That said, I was not 100% sure why he was going to be more aggressive, other than the fact that they didn't like him getting into so many two-strike counts. But he's a really good two-strike hitter. So if he's working pitchers, I see the positive in that. The Phillies want him to be more aggressive. So he's swinging earlier in counts, maybe to keep pitchers off balance. I guess that they're thinking he's going to take strike one, take strike two. They can throw him cookies and he's not going to swing at them. Well, it's gotten him off to a slow start. The Phillies are saying stick with this because they firmly believe that A, he'll start running into some more hits earlier in counts, and that B, because he's got such a good eye at the plate, that pitchers will not throw him strikes early and then put him into better counts later on. I'm not super concerned by the start here with Bryson Stott. If he's still doing this 3 weeks from now, let's revisit, right? Let's talk about it again. But I think that this is something that if he stays stubborn to what the game plan is, ultimately it will pay off.
As we wrap up, Anthony, we discussed last July when you were on Philly Pressbox. You do a fair amount of acting, lots of stage work, even some directing. I believe with the Players Club of Swarthmore, are you still keeping busy with that? And anything you want to plug?
Well, we haven't officially announced it yet, but so I'll say this will be like breaking news for the theater on your show. But I will be directing again later this year. I'm directing the musical Catch Me If You Can, which will be in December at the Players Club. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'll start working on that sometime in September, but then that will go through in December and the holidays and in the beginning of January, that run. So looking forward to getting back working the boards, as they say.
Anthony, remind our viewers and listeners again where they can find you and your sports-related work.
Yes, my sports-related work, as always, can be found at onpattison.com, part of the Federi News Network, and my two main podcasts, as Chet mentioned earlier, that I do are partnered with Federi and with On Pattison. It's Snow the Goalie, which is the Flyers podcast, and then Fighting Words, which is my Phillies podcast. Find them anywhere you get your podcasts and on YouTube as well. Just search for Fighting Words is with a PH.
Yes.
In case anybody's you're thinking you're spelling it with an F. No, this is a Phillies podcast. It's spelled with a PH, but you can find either one of those on YouTube as well.
Excellent. Anthony SanFilippo, have a great spring and summer, and let's do this again down the road, and go Flyers.
Anytime, Chet, and I love coming on with you, and it's going to be a fun thing. I'd love for the Flyers to get in the playoffs. It's something that this city needs.
Great work by Anthony. He's good.
He is really good, man. He knows his stuff, and so well spoken, just in tune with everything going on with the Phillies and Flyers. So hope to have him back again before too long.
So, Chet, I have a Phillies question for you. We're going to hopefully have some time to talk a little more Phillies later on, but you were talking about Justin Crawford, and I didn't get to watch the game today, obviously, because I was at work. But
you didn't miss much.
They pinched hit for Justin Crawford today.
Yeah, with Otto Kemp.
With Otto Kemp. Now, explain that to me, pal. Don't tell me because he's a lefty.
Well, that's what it is. The whole team is, as Anthony said, the whole team is having trouble hitting lefties. I guess they just felt that Kemp gave them a little better chance than Crawford against this particular lefty. I don't know. You got to try anything when you're only getting 4 hits a game from your entire team 2 days in a row, Bill.
Well, Kemp actually did get a hit when he pinched hit for him, and then he stayed in the game. But just a little tidbit of information. Last year at Lehigh Valley, Crawford hit .376 against lefties.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, I think. And
I think so.
And he hit .439 in 41 at bats also. So, yeah, I mean, pinch hit for him. Thompson, clown.
Bill, I don't know what to tell you, but 4 hits.
I digress.
4 hits last night, 4 hits today from this high-powered Phillies offense. That's a concern. I know it's only 2 weeks into the season, 12 games, but
way too early.
They have so many slumps like this every season, it seems, and I guess it's better to have them now than in late September, early October.
Well, we always talk about hitting season. It ain't hitting season yet. It'll come around. They're only They're 2 games out of first place. They've only played 12 games.
Exactly.
No worry.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
And there was a lot of talk about Bryce Harper early on. He is starting to swing the bat a little bit, starting to get some hits. He had a hit today, had a hit last night. So he's only at, I think, 222 after today's game, but he's working his way back up. He's going to be just fine.
I hope you're right, Bill. I really do, because I want to see some, competitive Phillies baseball this year, and especially this fall.
Yeah, and you know what, Chet? Let's bounce over to the Flyers for just a second. How exciting is it going to be to have playoff hockey in Philadelphia? We're close.
Yeah, they're not there yet. But, man, it felt like a playoff atmosphere both Sunday and Tuesday. How about me watching 2 straight Flyers games pretty much end to end? So,
how about that?
I'm getting all in now. Very excited. They're playing so well.
And how about the Flyers taking over the arena in New Jersey last night? There was more Flyer fans there than Devils fans.
I saw the overhead shot. There was a lot of orange in the stands.
Yeah, when the Flyers scored, it sounded like it was a home game.
Yep.
So good stuff. Hey, Jet, Philly Pressbox Radio is part of the STT Sports Network, as in Set the Trends. It's a network set up by our pal, Phil Stiefel, who you mentioned earlier, host of the terrific Trending in the AM show that you can find every weekday morning on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Check out Phil. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Phil's show is on there, and so is ours. Yep. You can find Philly Pressbox Radio there in addition to on our own YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Again, it's the STT Sports Network setting the trends for what sports talk should be. You know, Chet, we need more people to like and follow that YouTube channel of ours. We don't really promote that very much. It's more word of mouth, but you know what? We need to start promoting it. These shows are good, and our guests are good.
And there is some great stuff. And yeah, the guests are better than you and me. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah. That's why I put them out there first.
Exactly. But yes, find us on YouTube, Philly Pressbox Radio. We've been stuck in the 780 plus followers for like a month and a half now. So where is everybody? If you're not already there on the YouTube channel, just head over there right now for a second and give us a like and subscribe, please. It doesn't cost you a penny.
What the heck? PJ, come on, PJ.
Uh-oh.
I think it's good to get more players into the lineup to keep them fresher. Come on, man. Oh, somebody got a hit. Come on, PJ. Get out of here. All right, Chet. April's here. Summer isn't far behind. What kind of activities are going on at the Irish Rover Station House?
This place, always plenty happening at the Irish Rover in Langhorne, Pennsylvania. The true highlights, of course, always the fantastic food and beverage items. Special cocktails, always 24 beers on tap. Daily happy hour specials for appies and drinks. Dinner specials Thursday through Sunday. Killer Burger Thursdays. There is trivia every Wednesday evening. And live music most weekends. Oh, they got something coming up again next week, one of those very popular paint and sip events that is Tuesday evening in cooperation with Penelope Fox Studios. Get your ticket in advance as they typically do sell out. The Irish Rover Station House on Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne. They are also on the web at irishroverstationhouse.com.
Hey everybody, it's Willie Nile here, and you're listening to Chet and Bill on Philly Pressbox Radio. You lucky people.
Hey, Willie Nile's going to have a birthday again in June. He's got a couple of shows related to that. I'll be seeing him again over at the Stone Pony, or not the Stone Pony, one of the venues over in Asbury Park, New Jersey. So Willie Nile back again this summer. Go see him if you haven't done that yet. Folks, I threw this out there earlier, something that our pal Phil was curious to hear in terms of our thoughts and those of our viewers. If you could change one thing on the Philly sports scene, what would it be? We will discuss that in just a few minutes, and we'll take your comments. Bill and I will give our views in just a few minutes, right after a little hoops talk, Bill.
Yeah, and let's invite our people watching and listening to make your comments about what you would like to see changed in the Philly sports scene, right? That's what we're after. What we'd like to see changed, right?
Right.
If you had your choice, if you were king for the day. All right, Chet.
Yes.
What a crazy season for the Sixers. It's week to week in the standings. It's day to day with Joel Embiid. Seems he wasn't too happy about being told he wasn't playing the other night. Meantime, they were all loaded up one night. They had everybody. They still lost. They've now fallen back to a three-way tie for 7th place with just 3 games to go.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, they were given a golden opportunity to knock off a great Spurs team Monday night when Victor Wembanyama suffered an injury in the second quarter and never returned. But the Sixers, unfortunately, went cold from the field in a couple of spurts in the second half. Tyrese Maxey had just an awful night, couldn't shoot well at all, managed just 15 points. And the team as a whole had some costly turnovers along the way as well. So not a good performance out in San Antonio. Looking at the standings now, they've again fallen out of the top 6 with those just 3 games left. They are at Houston Thursday night. The Rockets are pretty good. Then on Friday, a back-to-back at Indiana. In this case, the Pacers do stink. So you should win that one. You never know, though. And then they close it out at home on Sunday evening at 6 p.m., with the opposition Sunday coming from the not great Milwaukee Bucks in what is expected to be Doc Rivers' final game as head coach. He's hinting at retirement and taking a job in management with those Bucks. Crazy.
Well, what do you think of that San Antonio game you mentioned? Wouldn't getting hurt in that game, but they played with everybody. And again, the offense revolved around Joel Embiid. He had 34 points. He played 39 minutes. But when it revolves around him, it's not successful. Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre all started that game. I don't know the answer to that when you go and you lose a game like that. They got to win that.
It hurt to lose that one because, like I said, they could have used that win certainly for to move up in the standings. Very disappointing. And yeah, I agree with you. When all those guys are healthy, you'd think they'd be better, but if it does revolve too much around Embiid, it's not good. And I think Maxey may be troubled with something physically right now because he just hasn't looked the same over the last week or two. They haven't said anything, but I mean, he was just not really into it the other night. I think he only took a couple of threes, did not shoot well at all, and just seemed sometimes like he wasn't even involved. And that thing with Embiid last week when he was scratched from the Wednesday game, it was before we did our show last Wednesday. We just thought it was, Embiid being sick still from earlier in the week. And then we found out later that he said, they won't let me play. He thought maybe it was an April Fool's joke or whatever. It was bizarre. Just another episode in Sixers Nation. I have no idea what to expect now from this team over the final 3 games or beyond.
Well, we actually talked about that last week with that conversation I had with a friend, and the friend said exactly what ended up, Joel ended up saying that, I was ready to go and they wouldn't let me go, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, because he missed the film study or whatever, late morning, and maybe didn't even call to tell them whatever. So not everything is well between Embiid and Sixers management, I think. So it's frustrating. And, there's a part of me that hopes that maybe they can get it together going into the playoffs, but I just can't really see it happening.
Well, one final thought on them, Chet. If you look at the standings, there's 3 games left. They have 3 games left. They're 14 out. Atlanta is 12 out. Toronto's 13 out. You're not going to probably get much movement there, but they're tied with Orlando, and they're only a half a game ahead of Charlotte. You lose a couple of those games, you might be 9th.
Yeah, and that's not good. That's not good. If you are locked into, or if you go into the postseason, the play in 7 or 8, you get 2 chances really, because even if you lose that first game, you still get a chance to play again. So if you fall down in 9th and you lose 1 game, you're done. 1 and go home in that case.
Yeah. Yeah, they better figure out how to win these last couple games just to stay in this play-in spot.
Going to be interesting. Well, Bill, as we mentioned, our little side topic, we want to get your thoughts. We want to get our viewers' thoughts. So send us your thoughts. If you could change one thing on the Philly sports scene, and this is, however you want to do it. If you could change one thing, what would it be? Do we have anything from the viewers?
We do not have anything yet, but I will go ahead and tell you mine if it's my time.
Yeah,
if you'd like me to. The Sixers. I would change the Sixers. The whole thing's a train wreck. Whether it's ownership, whether it's Joel, whether it's whatever it is, general manager, I don't know about him. Heck, the one I feel sorry for is the coach a little bit, because I'm not sure he ever knows what he's dealing with. Again, it would be the Sixers. Flyers look like they're on an upward trend. The Eagles are playing as good a football as there's ever been. And the Phillies are still good. So if you look at it that way, the Sixers to me are the bottom of the heap.
Guess what Joe Howe said?
Trade Bohm. Right?
He does not like Alec Bohm one bit. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's see. My buddy Tom checks in. A fiery leader for the Phillies. Could be a new manager or a player to hold them accountable.
Tom, that was my second. That was my second, a new manager for the Phillies.
I thought you might go there. In fact, the 2 things, that and what you said about the Sixers, were what I thought you might say, one or both of those things. So that's what
if I had 2, those were my 2, but I went with 1, and that was
I actually thought about the Sixers thing myself because it is just so damn frustrating. Part of me wants it to just be over and let them start anew with a whole new group of people in management and maybe, Maxey and an entirely new cast. But I didn't say that. What I said, and I know this will never happen, but if I could change one thing, it is just my wish that Philly fans would drop their rush to judgment. Philly fans, they want Sirianni fired after 4 games in a season that they end up going to and winning the Super Bowl. They want Jalen Hurts benched after 1 bad game. Rob Thompson fired after, any 3-game losing streak, and on and on and on. And I know that it's this way in sports pretty much everywhere, but just the rush to judgment. People have no patience, especially in the world of sports.
It's so funny that you said that because that was on my list. That was also on that was my number 3. I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to word all that, but that was definitely something I gave a lot of thought to for sure.
Hey, Tom, don't tell Bill he's got a great mind. That'll just go to his little head.
Tom's right. No doubt about it.
Robbie. There you go.
Well, Robbie says sometimes it's necessary, but I would stop the parade of OCs. Yeah. And I agree with her. Obviously, some of them, when they win, are going to get promoted and get head coaching jobs somewhere else. But, every time they have a down season, they fire the OC and have to start over again. And that's tough.
Well, that was fun. You know what, Bill? I got a random chat.
Oh, it's time to go bowling, huh?
A lot of people are excited about our first ever bowling segment. I think the only other time we mentioned bowling was 2 years ago when I told you that there was a naked bowling event in Pittsburgh, of course. So
I forgot about that.
Had a little laugh about that one. Apparently they do this naked bowling thing in the Steel City. But no, this is not that. This is something different. So bowling fans, enjoy. Here we go. Believe it or not, I've done a lot of bowling in my life. Hey, don't judge me. I was in regular leagues from, the time I was 11 through my early 20s, then again in my 30s and 40s, even won a few team championships along the way. But I pretty much stopped bowling around the year 2008. And as a kid in the early 1970s, I used to love to watch weekend bowling action on ABC with Chris Schenkel calling the action, when guys like Earl Anthony, Mark Roth, and Nelson Burton Jr. were among the guys who ruled the sport. Last month, then, my buddy Coop tipped me off to the fact that HBO was airing a 4-part documentary series called Born to Bowl about the state of bowling today, with a focus on some of the game's top names as they competed at various tournaments over the course of the 2025 season. It just wrapped up this past Monday night, the series that is, and it was pretty entertaining. Narrated by the great actor Liev Schreiber, who calls bowling the unofficial sport of the everyman, the series follows 5 current pro bowlers as they travel from event to event over the course of the 4-month 19-tournament 2025 PBA Tour. Sounds thrilling, right? Okay, maybe not. But what makes it such a fun watch are the personalities the series follows. Phenom Cameron Crowe in his first season as a Professional Bowlers Association member. Foul-mouthed hothead Anthony Simonson, a.k.a. Simo, that Texas native, is quite the character. Kyle Troop, the pro with the fro, who turned pro at age 15 while also working at a Wendy's, by the way. He's the son of Hall of Famer Guppy Troop. And the 2 guys who are the world's top bowlers these days, Indiana native E.J. Tackett, who had 23 PBA titles when the series began filming last year. He's up to 27 now and is ranked number 1 among active pros. And Australian Jason Belmonte, a.k.a. Belmo, one of the many bowlers today who utilizes the 2-handed release to achieve high rev rates. Oh, check this out. Belmo started bowling at the age of 18 months, really. There's also a little segment on legendary PBA Hall of Famer Pete Weber, and what a character he is. Some other tidbits from the series: pro bowlers typically share hotel rooms 2 or 3 to a room to save money because they have to pay their own way to tournaments and aren't paid a salary. They rely on prize money and occasional endorsements for bowling equipment or products like beef jerky. Oh, regarding that prize money, bowling certainly pales in comparison to other individual sports like golf and tennis. While golf's Masters presents its champion a green jacket and a $4.2 million prize, bowling's U.S. Open awards its champion a green jacket, and a $100,000 check. Quite a difference. By the way, watching Born to Bowl, the series, also inspired me to watch pro bowling on TV the last few weekends. Yeah, it is still on. And former NBC Sports Philly anchor and reporter Taryn Hatcher has been side lane reporting for the tournaments the last several weeks. You know what else the series inspired me to do? Make a return to a bowling center for the first time in 15 years. Yeah, last Thursday, I went to Laurel Lanes in Maple Shade, New Jersey, and bowled 6 games over the course of 90 minutes. What the hell was I thinking? There were some shots like this, yikes, that left me scratching my head, but fortunately, a lot of solid strikes, too. Man, shots like those feel great. Oh, this happened in Game 3. One of my 20-year-old Dexter bowling shoes just fell apart, and I had to revert to dreaded rental shoes. No problem. There were still several more strikes to come. Plus a couple of splits and a missed 10-pin or two. How did I do overall? Well, 25 years ago at my league bowling peak, I averaged 192, 193. For my 6-game venture last week, I averaged 145. Hey, it's my first time back after 15 years away from bowling, so it's a start. And I just might join a summer league next month to see if I can still find that old bowling magic. Meanwhile, if you're a fan of bowling or just curious as to what's going on in the sport today, yes, it is a sport, check out Born to Bowl on HBO or HBO Max. It's interesting, it's fun, and you can watch all 4 episodes in about 2 hours' time.
Well, I'm going with Joe. Let's go with Joe.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But yeah, you can watch the whole thing, 4 episodes in 2 hours. So definitely worth checking out. It's fun.
Very good. Well, I'm glad you had
What about
fun.
you, Bill? Were you a bowler back in the day?
I have bowled. I've never played in a bowling league, but I've bowled and I actually enjoy it, but I'm not, I can't go up and make the thing spin and do all that stuff,
Yeah.
But it's fun. Yeah, it was fun.
Look at what Malloy said earlier. He loves bowling and he was way better than me. Yeah. Denny did bowl a 300 once in 1991 or whatever.
Did he?
And we were in the league together at the time, and it was a week that I was off, so I didn't actually get to see it. But
if you didn't see it, it didn't happen.
That's where Denny and I became friends, actually, 1990, 91 at the bowling alley. He claims it happened. I guess I'll believe him. I don't know.
If you didn't see it, it didn't happen.
I once bowled 13 strikes in a row. 12 in a row is a 300, of course. Well, I finished off. Yeah, I know, right. I finished off game 1, and this was in a league. I finished off game 1 with 5 strikes. I started off game 2 with 8 strikes in a row, and then in the 9th frame, I threw a bad ball, and I got a 6 and a spare, and then 3 strikes in the 10th, and I finished with, that's either 274 or 276. That one bad ball killed me. Yes, senior league and summer league, I am seriously considering. That was a regular league, but now I'm a senior, so I may join a Tuesday morning summer league, and I'll report back if I do.
There you go. PJ's got it figured out too. PJ and Joe and me, we'll be out there together. You can be doing something serious.
I bowled 6 games in an hour and a half last weekend. I did not have one beer, so how about that?
Were you by yourself?
I was by myself, and yeah, I set up my camera so I could videotape, some of the shots and do this little segment because I thought it'd be fun. So yeah, it was a good time.
I got you. Hey, spring is here. What's going on with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia? Bob Cavanaugh and the gang of Cavs Philly Tailgates.
Well, you know this, Bill. There is nothing better than what Cav does at these tailgates. Cav's Philly Tailgates has been cooking up a terrific catering business for some 35 years. Cav's a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgates, Jack Daniel's Great American Tailgate Party Contest, and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cav's also does corporate events, parties, you name it. Cav, though, best known for those tailgates before Philly sporting events. As I told you last week, there was a great one at the home opener, the Phillies season opener, a couple of weeks back. And there's more to come, of course. There is another one before a Phillies Guardians game in late May. Plus, there will be tailgate parties before a couple of concerts at the Link. Country star Morgan Wallen on August 1st, and then AC/DC in late September. Get details on those and other events at Cav's website. That is phillytailgates.com. And if you do have questions, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go.
Yes, it is. And we appreciate Cavs support.
We sure do.
Hey, we need some other comments on what we would change in Philly sports. We didn't get enough of them. Let's hear some more.
Yeah.
Chet, great guest tonight, and Anthony SanFilippo, who is coming to Philly Pressbox Radio next week.
Well, Bill, next week we are going to talk a little 76ers basketball as the NBA postseason gets underway. And that's part of the reason we are not sure if we're going to have our show next week on Tuesday or Wednesday, because I thought that even if the Sixers, fall back into the play-in, which they actually are right now, that they didn't play till Wednesday, there's a possibility they will have a game Tuesday night. So if that's the case, we're going to have this particular show next Tuesday because we have a visit from Sixers radio voice, Tom McGinnis. Get excited! Tom McGinnis, what a great job he does calling those Sixers game. He's going to tell us what to expect during the playoffs. So it will obviously be taped earlier in the day, but he agreed to do it, but we don't know whether the Sixers are going to play Tuesday or Wednesday, or hopefully not till next weekend because they would be a 5 or 6 seed. So we shall see, but Tom McGinnis, always great to have him on the show.
Tom McGinnis is always great. Absolutely. Looking forward to that. Hey, Chet, swinging back to the basketball for just a second, and you mentioned his name. Doc Rivers is being inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame as a coach.
Go figure, Bill.
What the heck is going on, Chet? Come on now.
I mean, I know he's, in the top 15 of, coaches all time, theoretically. He's won the one title. He's won several 3-1 lead in the postseason. So I don't get it. He must know some of the voters real well, vote for the Basketball Hall of Fame, because he's not a Hall of Famer to me.
No, I actually pulled it up real quick. He is in 6th place on the NBA's all-time coaching wins list.
He's been around for a long time, so
he has. His first gig was in 1999, and he's still coaching. So he's pretty consistently had work since then. So he's got 27. This is 27th season, but one coach of the year. No chance.
Yeah, I'm with you. But hey, it is what it is. We have several other things I want to squeeze in here, Bill. First of all, we got the news today, right before the Phillies game, that Davey Lopes has passed. He was 80 years old. He'd been battling Parkinson's in recent years. So we remember him playing for the Dodgers, playing against the Phillies in the late 70s. And then, of course, coaching the Phillies at first base on the 2008 World Series champion Phillies. So rest easy, Davey Lopes. On a more positive note, Bill, this Sunday is another birthday for the Philly fanatic. He looks great, man. 48 years old, still hopping around and entertaining the fans. So happy birthday to the Philly fanatic. They will celebrate at Citizens Bank Park this Sunday. And Bill, I want to get your take on, the big story of the day. Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel, apparently really close friends. Both are married to other people, but they were on this little getaway together, and everybody's talking about it and wondering what this does for, Vrabel's personal life and for Diana Rossini's credibility as a reporter for The Athletic.
Well, there's two things I will say about that. One is I already read that there's supposed to be a lot more to the story and that there was a bunch more people there, and not just
That's
the
what
two
she
of them.
claims.
That's what he claims too.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's nobody's business. That's what I think about it. When I saw it in the news, I thought, there used to be a day, and if we talked to any of these old-time reporters, that stuff was off limits.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever was going on was off limits. It's nobody's business, and it's still none of my business.
That was in the days before TMZ and social media and
Right.
cell phones and everybody having cameras on their phones. So it's a different world now, Bill. And
I get it. Everybody's got to break the big story,
Right.
the first story and whatever. Hey, I wanted to.
Where it becomes an issue, though, is, if she's an NFL reporter and reporting on A.J. Brown really wanting to get out of town from Philly and that the Patriots are one of the prime suitors, and here she is, doing whatever with Mike Vrabel, it's an issue. So, somebody's going to have to check this out.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it might cost her a job. Actually.
Exactly.
It's not going to cost him a job, but it might cost her a job, whether people think that's right or wrong.
Yeah.
The football coach isn't going to get fired, but the reporter might be. Hey, I wanted to jump back to basketball just for a second to that Hall of Fame, Chet. One Delco guy, Joey Crawford, is also going into the Basketball Hall of Fame. He's a referee of the 39 seasons. Joey Crawford, his brother Jerry Crawford, was a Major League Baseball player for years, and their dad was Shag Crawford, who you might remember from way back.
I do.
When we were young. Joey Crawford from Drexel Hill is going in, and Elena Deladon from down in Wilmington Way is also going in as on the women's committee. Picked Elena Deladon along with some others. So some local flavor going into the Basketball Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, congrats to all except for Glendock Rivers. To heck with him.
Yeah.
Bill, one other thing. It's the Masters over the next 4 days, which I guess is what inspired our buddy Phil Stifle to wear his green jacket today. So that's kind of interesting, I guess. I don't know how much of the Masters you watch, and I got to get rid of Phil. I've seen enough of Phil. I don't know how much you're going to watch, but Scotty Scheffler enters as the consensus betting favorite, plus 500. He's looking to win his third green jacket. Following him are top contenders like John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, and defending champion Rory McIlroy. But WIP's Jody Mack says he is putting a few shekels on 24-year-old Akshay Bhatia, who has been solid in his first two Masters appearances and now enters as a recent winner at Bay Hill. Some experts say Bhatia could be the latest to benefit from the trend that Augusta National favors lefties. So we shall see. The Masters tee off tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I've never been. I know some people that have been, and they say it's just a tremendous, tremendous event to go to. Sure. But I'll probably watch some on Sunday late. I watch the Phillies or whatever, and I'll put it on and watch the final 5 holes or whatever. I'm not sitting there watching golf all day. It's not my thing.
And Denny, I think you know the answer to this one.
Yeah, Tiger
will not be playing.
Hey, Chet, one thing we can't gloss over. Your friend Mike Missinelli got himself in a little pickle today.
He did. Mike can't go like a full year without getting in some kind of trouble, either with a radio station or a fellow employee, or in this case, it sounds like his girlfriend. So
yeah. For those that don't know what happened, apparently Mike has gotten, I guess he got arrested.
Yeah.
Got arrested for battery of, he whacked his girlfriend a time or two, and they called 911 and hung up, and they responded to the call anyway. And they agreed that they had a little tussle, and not good for Mike. Never.
Come on, Mike.
Good way to ruin your legacy as a 70-year-old smacking your girlfriend. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Be better than that.
He's no longer on the radio, but he has been doing these, internet shows. So I don't know if that's going to stick around either, but
be better than that, Mike. Be better.
Be better. And Bill, finally, another edition of a beer that Bill Furman would never, ever drink. This is from Axe and Arrow down in Glassboro. It is a chocolate chip banana bread, bro, and it is really good. It's a banana bread beer with a little chocolate chip taste mixed in, and it is freaking delicious.
I would love to eat banana bread with chocolate in it.
This is really good.
No doubt about that. I don't know if I want to drink it.
It's good. Wrap it up.
Hey, speaking of the Masters, Jason Kelce will be part of the Masters coverage somehow. I'm not sure what his deal is, but he is going to be part of that coverage.
Jason Kelce will never, ever have trouble finding work because
apparently
he's just so good, so popular. So yeah, there's always going to be a job somewhere for Jason Kelce.
Yeah, a lot going on with him where I guess they thought he was going to just go in and be a football analyst, and that's really not what they're using him as. They're using him as a personality who can get out and do pretty much anything.
And he's also going to be down at Rowan next month at Neil Hartman's event, Pizza with the Pros. So he's going to talk to the crowd down there, and that's going to be a packed house for that for sure.
Oh, for sure. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Thank tonight's special guest, Anthony SanFilippo. Our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgates, PPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim Chet Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll join Philly Press Box Radio next Wednesday, April 15th, or maybe Tuesday, April 14th. We'll get back to you on that.
We will.
You can see us live on Facebook, on our Philly Press Box Radio YouTube channel, and on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel as well. And listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans, and Chet. Let's go Flyers.
Yeah.
Happy trails to you till we meet